Well, it's a big story that is unfolding on this day. The Indian Army, in a joint operation with the Indian Air Force, undertaking a cross-border operation into Myanmar, striking at terror camps across the border in retaliation for the strike that killed 18 Indian soldiers in Manipur just last week. Joining us on NDTV is Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting, Colonel Rajyavardhan Rathore. Colonel Rathore, first of all, can you give us some broad details without, of course, revealing any sensitive information on just how this operation was carried out?
It's become kind of a habit for these militants to strike at the Indian Army or our paramilitary forces or the citizens of the nation and then cross over into safer heavens, knowing fully well or being confident of the fact that the Indian armed forces will not pursue them. I think this message is now very clear to all those who harbor intentions of terror onto our country. Unprecedented though, but our Prime Minister has taken a very bold steps and given a go-ahead for hot pursuit into Myanmar. And so therefore, we are confirming that the Indian armed forces, the special forces, crossed over into Myanmar and carried out strikes into two of the militant camps, annihilating the entire camps, and they have returned back safely.
And what is significant is that you are confirming that this is a cross-border operation that took place on Myanmar soil. This was not just along the border, this was within Myanmar territory. How far deep did you actually go in? How far deep did the forces go in?
I think that's really not critical. The militants go deep enough to feel safe. So I think the message is that you are no longer safe if you are attacking Indians or Indian soil.
And you had complete support of the Myanmar army and their government?
Well, Myanmar is a friendly nation, and therefore there was complete cooperation if the need required.
So this was an operation that was solely carried out by the Indian forces. That's what you're saying. It wasn't something in which the Myanmar forces assisted you?
Well, the operation, like I said, was carried out by the special forces entirely on their own.
Colonel Rathore, there's also been some reports that helicopters were also used in this operation. Is that any information that you could confirm for us?
When you carry out certain operations of this nature, what is of importance is that our troops return back safely. We need to do everything to ensure their safe return, and for that reason, we had many of the other forces waiting in readiness for any eventuality.
And significantly, what you're also saying is that there was a high casualty figure on the militant side, whereas our Indian forces didn't have any casualty. That is quite significant.
Yes, that's absolutely true, and that speaks volumes of the efficiency of the armed forces.
Colonel Rathore, you've been talking about the message that a strike like this would give. Does this mark a shift in the Government of India's strategy when it comes to dealing with terrorism and terror groups, particularly from across the border?
I think it was a need of the hour as well, and the entire nation wanted it, and that's perhaps the reason why they voted a strong government at the center. It had become kind of a habit, like I said earlier, and it's not like a kushti match that आप अपने पाले में चले जाएंगे तो आपको कोई out नहीं करेगा. So this message is very critical, that we will strike you wherever you are.
What's also important is that it was a pretty swift decision that seems to have been taken within days of this attack on our soldiers in Manipur last week, that the government has acted very quickly.
Yes, absolutely.
Colonel Rathore, is there a possibility at all that the government would look at the option of extending this to other frontiers, to other sectors? This is the eastern sector, but we face a terror problem on the other side as well. Is this a message that you're trying to send to other countries like Pakistan?
It is undoubtedly a message to all nations that harbor any intentions. be it the West or the specific country that we went in right now. Even if there are groups within a country that harbor terror intentions, we will choose the time and place of hitting them.